What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like, subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna talk about how Rich Paul is now switching up. And it's not the first time that Rich Paul has switched up. First you had Rich Paul saying that LeBron James don't have anything to prove. He's not chasing Mike. It's not about rings. Now, when Charles Barkley make the statements that he made that LeBron James always trying to stack his team, now he's trying to say, well, who don't want to go to a team that's winning? Why? If you're not playing for rings, then why are you playing? So this guy, Rich Paul, man, like I said, he's LeBron James hype man. Basically, he's his hype man, and anything that needs to be said for LeBron James, he's going to say it, whether it's true or not, right? And so, let me play what Rich Paul had to say about Charles Barkley's statements, referring to LeBron James as stacking teams, never wanting to stay with one of the teams, any team, and just build, and persevere and see, how he could basically, lead a team to a championship without trying to stack the team. And so Rich Paul wanted to go against Charles Barkley's statements. And so let's play Rich Paul's statements. I'm gonna come back and add my input. Listen to it.
He was referring to Charles's comments about ring chasing, and I think Shaq chimed in as well, which is confusing. It's like, well, what do you suppose to chase? Like aluminum cans? And I don't think we're chasing anything. I don't think he's chasing anything. I just think that you want to put yourself in the best position to have a competitive chance of winning.
See, now you can't have it both ways. First he's saying like, what are you supposed to chase? And then he want to change it to, well, you want to put yourself in a situation where you could win. Then, first, and then on top of that, what did he say one time? One time he said, well, LeBron is not about the money. LeBron is playing because he loved the game. So, like I said, this guy say anything for LeBron James. That's, like I said, he's LeBron's hype man.
But it's very confusing when you see players and they talk about whether you stacking a team or ring chasing, especially guys don't have any rings. That's a little confusing. That's really confusing. I'm not talking about Charles because Charles is a legend. It's my guy. But
I think this is where
this guy, Rich Paul, he gonna bring up not having any rings, and then say we're not talking about Charles. Charles, my guy. This guy, Rich Paul, is something else.
This is when you get criticized and LeBron gets criticized.
Well, we always get criticized. What else is
but here's the criticism. Let me articulate the criticism as well as I can and see what Sham's 2 cents is. LeBron has definitely joined teams and put teams together or been a part of putting teams together that were going to be at the very least extremely competitive. Now, when he did that in Cleveland, you understand they weren't going to make a move, obviously, that was going to make them competitive. He had to drag a substandard group into the finals. It's amazing. He stacked it in Miami, no question. Him and Wade were 2 of the 3 or 4 best players in the world on the same team. And Bosh was excellent.
Or did
everyone did? But he was part of it. Like Wade and Bosh stacked it, right? And Pat Riley and you and a whole bunch of people, like it was stacked.
No, I didn't stack it. I was
right. Okay, yeah. Mav. Or the point is, you get that because you are his agent.
Very upset
because you wanted him not to go to Miami.
Well, I didn't think he was that far away. But
he was far away in Cleveland.
But I was wrong.
Yeah, right. No, when you see what it takes to even win a championship.
Yeah.
So once that move is made, or going to Cleveland, once they have Kyrie and now they have the number 1 pick and they could flip that into Kevin Love or keep it or whatever, that clearly he is chasing. Now, when he's not doing what KD did in Golden State. He's not parachuting into a ready-made situation. He is part of making the situation.
Either way, to me, the KD situation going to Golden State and LeBron James going to Miami, to me, it's the same thing. Dwayne Wade had already won a ring before LeBron James got there. Same thing with KD, right? KD went to Golden State, but Golden State had already won a championship before he got there. So they had one in Golden State. Then they had one in Miami. So, but the situations to me are the same. It's just that LeBron did it before Kevin Durant did it. And LeBron James's decision to leave was probably what motivated Kevin Durant to, leave and say, okay, well, if LeBron do it, then it's okay for me to do it. And so to me, they the same situation.
Getting together with the other players before there's anything there. Nevertheless, he is doing that and he is chasing a championship doing that.
Yeah,
you are trying to win a championship. So when he does that and then they hear from you or LeBron that that's not what's happening, people are like, well, you're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
No, what I'm saying is you're saying it. Most people are saying it with a negative connotation. When you get up and go to work every day, what are you chasing?
The dough.
Right. Or you want to be successful or whatever the case may be. I just don't understand how people get up every day and try to nitpick at you trying to put yourself in the best position to win at anything, because take sports out of it. Wouldn't you try to put yourself in the best position to win in life? If you
Well, see, and all right, so this is the thing where, all right, so I can understand but you still want to be competitive, right? And that's what that's what sports is all about. You're competing against the best in the sport. And so in order for you to be the best, you got to beat the best. And so LeBron James has demonstrated throughout his career that he would rather play with the best than to beat the best. Whereas though we're, like older basketball fans are used to seeing all the best guys compete against each other, and then who is going to be the person that's going to be at the top of the mountain or the king of the hill, so to speak, right? But not LeBron James, man. And so we're talking about competitiveness, right? And so now, and so I don't know if you can really compare it to a job, because and when you go to a job or if you start a business, you're competing against other businesses, but there's still rules as to how you can compete, right? And so LeBron James he's not competing. He's just going to the highest bidder like a mercenary, right? And so even in the workforce or the job force, there are some benefits to being a mercenary, and then there are some there's some downside to being a mercenary. But LeBron James, like the guy said, you trying to have your cake and eat it too. You either you are a mercenary or you're somebody who can come in and get the job done and win and build and carry a team. LeBron James won credit for being able to win and carry a team when he's more so of somebody who's just stacking teams and trying to be a mercenary. So let's listen to some more of what Rich Paul had to say, though.
Pick your job and pick your salary and pick, the things you had to do and pick your off days and pick, like, why?
Well, because there's another.
So you saw it there.
Yeah, and so, like I said, Rich Paul to me still speaks like he's still selling T-shirts out the trunk of his car. People are not really buying into anything that Rich Paul say. They see, they understand that Rich Paul is speaking to an audience of one, and that's LeBron James. This reminds me of like when Donald Trump, the press secretaries and people come out and they'll say stuff during those press conferences and stuff that everybody in the room know are not true, but they say it. They say these things because that's what Donald Trump wants to hear. And that's all it is. It's like you're speaking and you're trying to please the audience of one. And that's what Rich Paul is doing. He's just, saying things that LeBron James want to hear, whether they're true or not. And he's trying to sound intelligent, but people, he just don't have any credibility. And I don't see, like I said, I don't see Rich Paul as anything other than a LeBron James hype man. And that's basically all he is, a hype man. He don't make a lot of sense in his comments. And he always contradicts himself, right? And so with him even contradicting himself, you really don't have to argue against him, because he's going to contradict himself, and what happened is you'll mess around and get confused and argue his first point. So that's my take on it, man. This guy, Rich Paul, is just, now he's saying it's about rings. First, it wasn't about rings, and he not chasing Michael Jordan, but yeah, that's the hype man for you. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.